Would you like to come in? Please feel welcome. But she had said, why not stew over it after you come in? Perhaps she meant, yes, you can return to the past, but why not come inside first before deciding whether to go or not? The bigger mystery was how the woman could possibly know why he had come. Yet he felt a flicker of hope. The woman's offhand comment was the trigger for him to make up his mind. He reached out, turned the doorknob, and opened the door. Clang dong. He stepped into the café where, supposedly, you could travel back in time. Go-Taro Chiba, aged 51, was of stocky build, which was perhaps not unrelated to him having belonged to the rugby club in high school and at university. Even today, he wore an XXL-sized suit. He lived with his daughter Haruka, who would be 23 this year. Struggling as a single parent, he had raised her alone. She had grown up being told, "Your mother died of an illness when you were little." Go-Taro ran the Kamiya Diner, a modest eatery in the city of Hachioji in the greater Tokyo area. It served meals with rice, soup, and side dishes, and Haruka lent a hand. Entering the cafe through the 2-meter-high wooden door, he still had to pass through a small corridor. Straight ahead was the door to the toilet. In the center of the wall to the right was the entrance to the cafe. As he stepped into the cafe itself, he saw a woman sitting at one of the counter chairs. She instantly called out, "Kazu, customer!" Sitting beside her was a boy who looked about elementary school age. At the far table sat a woman in a white short-sleeved dress. With a pale complexion and a complete lack of interest in the world around her, she was quietly reading a book. "The waitress just got back from shopping, so why don't you take a seat? She'll be out soon." Obviously caring little for formalities with strangers, she spoke to Go-Taro casually, as if he was a familiar face. She appeared to be a regular at the cafe. Rather than replying, he just gave a little nod of thanks. He felt the woman was looking at him with an expression that seemed to say, "You can ask me anything you like about this cafe." But he chose to pretend he hadn't noticed and sat down at the table closest to the entrance. He looked around. There were very large antique wall clocks that stretched from floor to ceiling. A gently rotating fan hung from where 2 natural wooden beams intersected. The earthen plaster walls were a subdued tan color, much like kinako, roasted soya flour. With a hazy patina of age, this place looked very old, spread across every surface. The windowless basement, lit only by shaded lamps hanging from the ceiling, was quite dim. The entire lighting was noticeably tainted with a sepia hue. "Hello, welcome." The woman who had spoken to him on the stairs appeared from the back room and placed a glass of water in front of him. Her name was Kazu Tokita. Her mid-length hair was tied back, and over her white shirt with black bow tie, she wore a black waistcoat and a sommelier's apron. Kazu was Funicula's waitress. Her face was pretty with thin almond eyes, but there was nothing striking about it that might leave an impression. If you were to close your eyes upon meeting her and try to remember what you saw, nothing would come to mind. She was one of those people who found it easy to blend in with the crowd. This year, she would be 29. Is this the place that, Go-Taro was completely lost as to how to broach the subject of returning to the past. Kazu calmly looked at him, flustered. She turned towards the kitchen and asked, "When do you want to return to?" The sound of coffee gurgling in the siphon came from the kitchen. That waitress must be a mind reader. The faint aroma of coffee beginning to drift through the room sparked his memory of that day. It was right in front of this cafe that Go-Taro met Shuichi Kamiya for the first time in 7 years.